Hello everyone, it's Jacob with Must Contain Minis, and I got some exciting news. I'm getting into 40k. Now, I bought the Levithan box, and this I've been looking forward to for a while. Inside, there are plenty of Tyranid miniatures, as well as a bunch of Space Marines. And we have some Space Marine aggressors that I bought to expand my Space Marine forces. I also bought the Augustus Strike Force. Now, looking at the back of the box, we can see that it comes with a bunch of these cool looking figures with big rocket launchers, a dreadnought, as well as a captain, and some heavy intercessors. I've watched the reviews online and I've heard that this guy's tough to build, but I'm going to give it a try. And honestly, I'm looking forward to getting these guys on the tabletop, as well as the heavy bolters. Another lieutenant, nothing wrong with that at all. So, in addition to the Augustus, I already had these Vanguard Space Marines as well, and I just built them up last week. Looking at the back, we have the Suppressor Sergeant, Eliminators for some sniping, as well as Infiltrators, and a Lieutenant in Phobos armor. On top of all the stuff here that you see, I also bought the Recruit Edition from 9th edition. So, that Recruit starter set came with 5 Space Marines and a Lieutenant, and I got those guys a ride. I got a big heavy battle tank that happens to carry 6 guys, and it comes with lots and lots of weapons. So I'm looking forward to having this on a battlefield. There's a couple ways that you can build it. I may magnetize it so I can swap out the plasma for the super laser cannon, but my original intent was to build it with the super laser cannon. Now let me take you across my table and show you what I have for 40k so far. So first off, aside from the Tyranids and the Space Marines I just talked about, I also have a proxy army of Imperial Guard. Now this proxy army is almost entirely Wargames Atlantic figures and 3D printed models from my mini factory. So this is a printed tank here, printed walker, printed flyer that will be used to bring in troops onto the battlefield, as well as a couple of printed tanks that will be used as troop carriers, and I have a selection of guns I can magnetize and put on these tanks. Now these tanks you can get for free from my mini factory, but you can also get an upgraded paid version. The same is true with this tank. This walker is a paid model. It's pretty nice though. And then this is also a paid model back here. This thing looks amazing. Still have to paint it though. For the Wargames Atlantic miniatures, I had a friend print off some of the Rough Rider type models and these big ogre miniatures as well. I had the heavy weapons teams, as well as a bunch of figures I've already painted for this army. This group over here, I use as stormtroopers in one-page rules. Now, in addition to all those, I have these figures I still have to paint up. These are the cannon fodder miniatures. They look fantastic. And then we have the bulldogs. So these are based off of historical British miniatures. And I have a whole bunch of these, 48 figures here in all. On top of that, I'm going to add to the force with dwarfs. Even though these are dwarfs, they don't fit the theme as 40k sets them out to be. So Games Workshop dwarfs are different than these. These guys are going to be made up as extra Imperial Guard models and added to the ranks of this collection. Outside of that, I have a small group of Chaos Cultists. This was just like a push fit kit that I bought back in the day, just for no reason other than I like the figures, so that was fun to do. And these are more Wargames Atlantic miniatures. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to use them yet. They may end up being part of a Trader Guard army, or they might end up being more stormtroopers for the force that you see over here. So these are some of my Space Marines from the Recruit starter set from 9th edition. There are some of the easy build Space Marines with the paint set. There's 3 miniatures there that is in this mix. And behind them, you can see that I've made up the Vanguard models already. I have to figure out how to stick these guys on because they fall off. I haven't glued them on yet, but I won't glue them on until after I paint them. We have the snipers there, as well as the Phobos armor guys. These are infiltrators, so they will be sneaking onto the field and giving some havoc to the enemies. In addition to those guys, there are the aggressors that I built up. So we'll see how they compare to Terminators once I get them going. Now, one of the things that I like about this collection I have going so far for Warhammer 40k is that these are the original 3 armies that I collected way back in the day when I first started with Warhammer. My Tyranids was the smallest force though, and in addition to that, I also bought in Imperial Guard. Now back then I used the official figures. This time around I'm going to use proxy figures, and to be honest, I was building this army up before I even thought about getting into Warhammer because I use them for one-page rules. But maybe they'll pull dual service and play in 2 different games now. Now tell me, are you excited about Warhammer 40k? Have you bought into the new edition? Are you looking forward to simplified rules for Warhammer? I've been looking at them a little bit so far, just online. I do believe they're going to be a lot simpler than they were before, but we'll see how the game progresses. Now, I'm going to end up having to build this model, these guys, and these guys. And I'll give you some updates as I go. I also built these guys already. I'm going to have to write a post about them or post a video or do both. But basically, I wanted to build them as these guys because rule of cool, I think they look awesome. But these guys have a lot of weapon power at 18-inch range, and I thought that they synergize better with this guy here. So the apothecary type model, who is a biologist, he's going to be embedded with this group here, and we'll see how that goes. And if it doesn't go well, he can also embed in with the heavy intercessors in this box set. I'm going to have a lot of fun building these models, and I'll get back to you again later. Until next time, happy gaming, everyone.